I think we can start now.
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. So we are happy to be here today with a webinar on Marketing Masterclass 2030. So we are from Udaan Digital. So I am the founder of Udaan Digital. Okay, so we are hosting this webinar of the month, Marketing Masterclass 2030, with a renowned professor in marketing, Professor MJ Javier, who will be in conversation with Dr. Subhendra Parihar. So we will start soon. I will tell you something about Udaan Digital. Okay, so we are hosting this webinar. This is the webinar of the month. This is the first webinar of the one series, and we are privileged to have Professor MJ Javier today. Okay, so Udaan Digital is organizing webinars almost every month to help you understand the domain of marketing, to understand the domain of digital marketing, to understand the domain of social media marketing and other things related. So this is in that series. So we are talking about that. So today we are going to talk about Marketing Masterclass 203. We are going to talk about a lot of things, right from the technology, impact of technology, how the consumer behavior is changing, how the world is changing, how has Corona impacted everything, and so on. Okay, so Udaan Digital is a edtech startup, okay, in the educational space, okay, for the of the students as well as professionals in the domain of marketing, digital marketing, social media marketing, and other domains of marketing. Okay, so right now we have started this platform, and recently we have launched a course on digital marketing that is called Certified Professional Program, which we have recently introduced, and we have started the batch on 15th of September. So right now it has got around 21 participants in the batch, and it's a 100 days live program. Okay, so live classes are there 100 days. Okay, so that in that way we are trying to skill the people, and we are focusing on the theme like do it yourself. That's why digital we write DIYGITAL. Okay, so that's what we are looking forward to, so that you can skill yourself, you can get into the job market, you can look out for a career yourself in the field of digital marketing, social media marketing, as well as marketing. Okay, so all these domains we are talking about. Okay, so now we are also going to start a course on social media marketing specifically, okay, as well as digital marketing courses. Okay, so these courses will start from November. So our next batch will be starting from 8th of November. And we are also launching a marketing masterclass course. That's an online recorded program of around 8-hour duration on 3rd of October. So 3rd of October, we are also going to start and launch a course, okay, which will be a recorded kind of program that will be 8 hours course. Okay, so that's what we are going to do right now. Okay, so that is the plan line. So let us go ahead and talk about the webinar today. Okay, so what do we have today? As you already know, okay, that we are talking about Marketing Masterclass 20. So we are talking about a lot of things here. Okay, 2030 means we are almost 9 years away. Once we are 9 years away, it means there is a lot of changes which are going to take place. And now in the last 1.5 year during the COVID period, you have already found that a lot of changes have already taken place. Now online has taken over all the mediums. Okay, usually it would have taken around 5-6 years, but in the 1.5 years, the leap has happened, the progression has happened. Okay, so that's why we are talking about the Marketing Masterclass 2030. And we have with us our guide, mentor, Sir Professor MJ Javier. I am very happy today because Sir is there to guide you on the path of Marketing Masterclass 2030. Okay, he has been the founding director of I Am Ranchi, and he has been chairperson technology and innovation at Liba. He's there right now. Okay, he was also CEO Karunia Group of Institutions, director VIT University. He was also the director of Great Lakes of Management. Okay, so this is his profile, and he has done BTech, MTech, as well as doctorate in management from Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. Areas of interest includes a lot many things, very path-breaking kind of thing. He's an expert in e-learning, marketing analytics, neuromarketing. At a one point of time in 2012-13, when we were talking about and then he's also into spirituality. He has authored 3 books and published more than 100 articles in research papers in India as well as abroad. He has served in the industry for 6 years before taking up full-time academics career, and he has excelled so much there that he is a renowned person all across the marketing domain. He has taught in XLRI, IIMB, IFMR, Great Lakes as well as IIM Ranchi, and he has served as visiting faculty to a number of business schools all across the world, right from University of Buckingham to Christian University to California Polytechnic University to the American University of Armenia. Okay, his book Marketing in the New Millennium won the DMA Scott's Award for the Best Management Book of the year 1999. And that's great. And he is also a recipient of several awards, including the AIMS Outstanding B School Director Award in 2013, because he has taken so many initiatives at IIM Ranchi. Okay, it is towards his contribution. Okay, and he is also known as an unconventional academician who has made a blend of ancient Gurukula method of holistic learning with e-learning tools. So welcome, sir. We would like to welcome you. Okay, with a we are going to plant a tree in your name, sir. Okay, in Tamil Nadu, Villupuram. Okay, that's a trees for tribals. So we are going to plant that. Okay, and we would like to honor you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for being here, sir, today.
Thank you, Vijay.
We would also like to welcome Dr. Subhendra Parihar. Okay, so he is a renowned academician. He is a friend, guide, mentor. Okay, so he's all that, and he is a PhD in management, MBA. He has done his MBA as well as MSc, and he has got more than 2 decades of experience in industry and academia. He's a senior academician in digital marketing and sales domain, and he has been an outstanding performer in sales and marketing in pharma industry. And he is a corporate trainer and marketing consultant for various firms, MSMEs, plus he also supports a lot of startups. And he manages Health Charcha blog, which is very popular in Health Circle. Plus he is also running a Marketing Circles YouTube channel. And he has also been certified Google EMEA, certified SEO fundamentals and affiliate marketing. And he is also an expert in digital marketing. So we are going to have very enlightening session today as far as Marketing Masterclass 2030 is concerned. So we'd like to honor Dr. Subhendra Parihar also with a plant which we are putting up at Bodh Gaya, Bihar. Okay, so that is the plant we are putting up for sir. Okay, so we welcome Dr. Subhendra Parihar. So let us go ahead and we'll talk about Marketing Masterclass 2030. Now, I would like to request Dr. Subhendra Parihar to take the proceedings ahead. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Vijay, and it's my privilege and honor that today I am sharing a platform with an stalwart Professor MJ Xavier. Sir, as I said that I have got this opportunity to have this interaction for this entire day while we were into attending a conference in BITS Pilani. Okay. Sir, this today's agenda that talks about this Marketing Masterclass 2030 and the role of this technology and how it is disrupting these businesses, and especially that revenue generation function of businesses, that is marketing, and the kind of this technologies which are evolving over a period of time, this technologies and the kind of this applications into this marketing, which is growing exponentially. Sir, we are talking about this artificial intelligence. I'm talking about this augmented reality, social media platforms or the search engines like Google. So they all are into this, I will say that contributing to this marketing function and facilitating this. So if I name a few that well-established AI application into the marketing, either it's the chatbots for lead development or customer support or cross-selling or upselling, or it is about this inbound call analysis, routing or customer comments, or email analysis, classification and the responses. So marketing campaign, this automation, including emails, landing page generation or customer segmentation, even marketing mix analysis, or it is a kind of this analysis of this pricing or online product merchandising, social media planning, buying or execution, social media sentiment analysis, or this television ad placements. So these are a lot of things that technology which is supporting this marketing function. And now this economy, which is more of this data driven, and data is information, information is power. So obvious that marketing is harnessing that power of this data and information, and leading these businesses and reaching to this or optimizing its potential. So sir, there are a lot of this question. If we look at this, what is happening worldwide, especially this post-COVID scenario, and how this digitization and accelerated, and the kind of this behavior or this perception they are carrying, and how it is going to have this impact on this marketing or the businesses. So now this people, especially these youngsters, they are following their passion, and it's a new fashion. So Generation Z is focusing on their side hustle to a foro, and how these brands can leverage that this trend in the future. That's this question. Or this community platforms, they are engaging creative minds and giving a shape to a new industry that is called as creative industry. So either it is a Scenes by Avalon or this HP Creator Garage, they are helping individuals to follow their passion by using technology. So how do you see this role of this marketing into individuals' career, and with freelancing is liked by many? Sir, if you talk about this packaging that is taking a shape of this more of this sustainability, and Tetra Paks, the company is coming out with this Tetra Paks, and this question is how this Tetra Pak moving forward in an era where people are trying to reduce the waste. Apart from this, sir, what this future do you see for this technology, especially for this neural link, where this micron skill threads are inserted into area of this brain, and that controls the movement, and human can interact with the computers and devices just by thought. Recently, we are using this voice technology for controlling this different devices, and this Alexa is one of this example, and normally in almost this all sort of this urban households. So how this technology do you see this for this neural link, where this thoughts, we can control the devices by thoughts, and how this brands will come forward? Now, between this 5G framework and the evolution of this artificial intelligence, and this exponential growth of this Internet of the Things, and the word is probably this hyper interconnected. So how it is going to impact this future advertising? Apart from this, what Google is offering, or what social media is being used for this digital advertising? People are having this less time to spend on doing this essential routine activities and decision making, especially those who are living into this metro areas. So what to buy for this birthday party? Instead, a bot will be doing that for them. Where it's grocery shopping or buying the gifts, people will have to have this AI-based shopping apps, and do shopping for them based on their criteria and shopping behavior. So how do you see brands will interface with the AI tools to maximize ROI? Personalized personal care, that is a new trend, and most of this personal care and beauty care products, companies like Skincraft or Vedics.com, they are coming out with the kind of these products which are highly customized for their customers. And definitely this technology is playing into a role, and how this brands, especially into the personal care and beauty care, they are taking shape. And probably this industry, personal care and beauty care, may be highly this customized. So what is the future for this mass merchandise e-commerce platforms if most of this FMCG or this kind of the products will be highly customized? So there are a lot of these questions, and definitely there is no one better than you who is with us today to enlighten our minds on this kind of thoughts, which really is going to affect the businesses, marketing, as well as the brands. So we would like to listen you on such aspects, and I request each participants into this webinar, if you are having these questions, definitely chat box is there, and chat bot you can use it for raising your questions or queries, and we will take your questions after Xavier sir completes his talk. Thank you very much. Over to you, Xavier sir.
Thank you, Dr. Parihar, and thanks to Dr. Vijay Prakash for this wonderful opportunity. All right. Hope I'm audible, clear, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Because your voice was breaking in between, so that's what I was worried. Hopefully, your network is all right.
Right.
Right. I think Dr. Parihar has raised quite a number of issues, but I don't know whether to go to that or actually start from a little lower level as to what is happening, and then build on to what could happen in the future. I mean, sure, because I think the audience is a mixed audience. Right? I think we'll look at it in 3 different dimensions, and then you will find answers to all of your questions. Of course, you know the answers. It's only for the benefit of the audience. Yeah. You have been asking. Let's look at the technology. In fact, very first time, I met Dr. Because that time he was Mr. Vijay Prakash Anand, young man, almost more than 10 years, I think, 10 years back in Patna. I was there to address a meeting. So when I came out of the meeting room, he came running. The organizers were very protective. They didn't want me to meet anybody else. But he insisted that he meet me, and then he gave me his book. So then I told him, come and meet me if you're coming to Ranchi. That's when I found that this young man is an actor, film director, media specialist. I said, wow, you are the kind of guy who is needed for the future. 10 years back, I told him. So I said, now you teach the course in IIM Ranchi, integrated marketing communication, but you should not talk from the book. Make them create communication, innovation and communication. Now that time onwards, I think, he has grown a lot, and then he got into digital marketing. He has come up in a big way. I'm really proud that, I could spot a potential, which is really doing well. Why I am narrating this experience? Of course, he also did, he directed, wrote the script and directed a film on Barefoot Manager for IIM Ranchi, which was it's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours feature film, right? I mean, it's a long film with educational value.
Yes.
The point I'm trying to make is that if you look at education itself, I think the days of lecturing, making students sit and use a PowerPoint and then kill them with your slide after slide, all that is gone. So this I said 10 years back, that the future will be, every session will have to be like a cinema. You have to build a story, you have to have a storyboard, you have to do that. I said, a person like you with your kind of background will do very well in the future. That was my idea. But it took so long. Actually, things were so slow, but the COVID completely transformed that. Today, I think every institution is making their process to act in front of the camera. I think we are all becoming actors. This is a massive transformation. So unless you are an actor, you can't survive as a teacher today. You have to be a director, script writer, producer, actor, all that you have to have, which is all there with Vijay Prakash. See. And this I predicted not 10 years back, 15, 20 years back, but I wrote my book, Marketing in the New Millennium. There I predicted what will happen to marketing in 2020. So, which has come true. Thanks to COVID, that our institute, for example, we have our own studio. I'm in charge of technology, so you can understand. I would force everything on to people. And we are also teaching them acting skills to the faculty.
Great, sir.
Yeah, so it is a necessary thing. Everybody has to become an actor. That is today's world, right? Okay. So technology has made it, made education into something, very different. So your old ways of, that harikatha. So you take you speak for hours together, you tell your stories, those things are gone. And in my book, I also talked about what is called a germophobia. One of the trends I identified, 2000, 20 years back, I said, there will be germophobia in the minds of the people. If you can make products which will protect you from the germs. Now, that was something I didn't even realize. Now, when I take my book and look at the trends, I'm shocked. I didn't anticipate COVID, but it's all a reality today. And everybody is scared of germs, phobia, right? There's so many products. You take every product is now talking about protection from germs and right. So like that, things have been changing. Now you are trying to do the crystal ball gazing of what will happen in 2030. I could do it for 20 years. Now you are asking me to do it for another 10 years. But then the transformation is pretty rapid. That's a basic problem. So the way we do marketing, the way we do business, everything is undergoing a massive change. That is the biggest problem. So if you are really looking at business, a company as a unit of analysis, you will get into problems. So today's world is, if you are looking at the old model of, 4 Ps, competition, those kind of models, then also you will be in trouble. All that is gone. So we have gone beyond competition. There is a collaborative model, which also I had hinted in my book. That is also true today, in the sense, you have a set of restaurants in a city. Now, earlier, each one is a separate business. You worked out your strategy. Now you have Zomato or you have Swiggy, and they've aggregated all of them. So you're competing, you're collaborating. So your future is that, everything is very, very different. So you have to analyze, you have to think of businesses are evolving in many multiple ways. So you cannot really work with the traditional model of analyzing competition, understanding industry trends, and then working it out, right? But at the same time, you have to understand that technology is changing. Now up to 2020 is fine. These are the kind of transformations. So traditional marketing will not work. So you are now talking about collaboration. You are talking about collaborative value creation. How do you come together? All that is happening. The next level we are talking about is a technology kind of thing. I think that's where Dr. Parihar asked a number of questions. So if you want to understand technology, it was kind of everybody thought that, it's just that you have ERP coming in, then CRM came in, right? So people thought it was nothing. But slowly what is happening is that, then your analytics became very important. And slowly now AI has come in, right? And the way you do marketing is completely undergone a big transformation. So the technology enabled solutions, I mean, that's something one has to really understand. That I suppose you all, I mean, for the benefit of the participants, the way it gradually happened was that, marketing was considered as something of an art. So you have to be creative, innovative. So you just, it's based on your gut feel. You must know how to spend your money, etc. From there, we have come to a situation where, for example, everything is measurable now. So this is the transformation. So once it becomes measurable, then it becomes manageable, it becomes controllable. That is where we have come to. So in this scenario, technology is playing a key role. So whether you are spending, money for campaigns, or you are spending on managing the leads, everywhere actually it is measurable. So that is the fundamental transformation. Now from there we are moving to the next level, which is marketing itself will not be understood at all. So we automated the marketing functions, and then we used CRM and other things and we managed it. But now what is happening is that you have technology itself is completely disrupting the way we do marketing. So if you are talking about AI applications, there are huge amount of AI is getting deployed. So your call centers are managed by AI enabled robotic agents, bots and other things, right? So in future, what will happen is that your entire way you do, the idea of meeting customer needs and satisfying them will all be done through robotic engines, because already, you hardly speak to humans. It's very expensive. So you are really working with the robotics, humanoids or robots and so on. So, and this is bound to happen in every field, because already in teaching they have introduced robots. And when we talk to some customer service agent, we don't know whether we are talking to a human or a humanoid. So there are humanoids which are getting deployed increasingly in all these areas. And it is bound to happen. See, for example, nowadays, you have robots that are used as, sex toys. There are men and women, those who don't want to get married. You could buy a robo and then live with that. I think in another 5 years' time, you're talking about the legalizing a marriage between a human and a humanoid. So these are the kind of trends that are happening. Maybe, I will wait for the next question and then we'll take on from there. Would you like to add something, Dr. Parihar? So you have to unmute.
Yeah, sir, please, you continue.
Okay, I'm fine, you're fine. All right. So this is the kind of a future, that one is really looking at. And so humans are getting replaced. This is one of the things. Second thing is consolidation of businesses. Now, is it really good? I mean, that is the other social dimension you have to keep in mind. So you had so many small shops in every rural area, every nook and corner of the country. Now, slowly they are getting killed. So you have only Amazon or Flipkart, only such of those companies will survive because of technology. So you have to invest such a huge amount of technology, and they are able to completely control the entire grocery trade. Entire trade is getting controlled by these large companies. So now that is another big issue. So future is going to be consolidation. Consumers will get it at a lower price because they are able to bring in the scale economics. You talk about taxi business, again it is aggregated. You talk about hotel business, it is getting aggregated. There is a lot of convenience to the customers. But you talk to the taxi operators, you talk to the hotel owners, now you will find that they are really affected. They feel that it is killing them. There's a problem. You also know that there is polarization of wealth in the whole world today because of this trend. So the money is concentrated in the hands of few people. A few companies have income that is, more than the GDP of several countries. So they can buy out countries if they want. I mean, that's the money they have. The individual wealth is nauseating. That's a level to which that is happening. This is the one side of the technology aspect. The other side, which you wanted to ask me, was about the consumer side. You particularly wanted about the millennials. So millennials are pursuing their passions. Yes. So the generational gap will always be there because the 90s kids are very different from the millennial kids. In fact, you will be shocked that people born in the 80s or earlier are not bad. They are lucky. People born after 2000, they are also lucky. But people born in the 90s, they are little unlucky. They are neither there nor here. They are caught up in the that transition phase. So their value systems are really mixed up. So many of them have difficulties. So their lifestyle, the way they live, everything is different. So they, in some sense, they are like 80s or kids born in the 80s. But they want to imitate what these 2000 kids are doing, but it is not possible. The 2000 kids are totally different because by the time they were born, already you had, the social media coming in, internet penetration is complete. And they were brought up in a completely different world. Their world is much bigger. So because of that, they are kind of, they are open to lots of ideas. And they are also daredevils because they are not afraid. And their only rule is that there is no rule. They don't believe in all these, unwanted traditions, rules and regulations restraining them. It is because, their exposure, they know a lot more than their parents. And today, for example, our generation or those born in the 80s or 70s, they have to take the help of the millennials to fix any problem in your mobile phone or anything to do with your technology, social media, all other stuff. So they are very different. So then how do you really, deal with them? This is the problem. For example, people born in the 80s, if they got a job, they would like to stick to the job. But those who are born in the, post 2000, they're completely different. And they don't care. So they join a company. They even get top multinational company jobs. They work for 10 days and then they say that, I'm sorry, this is not what I like. They're ready to come out of that. So there is a massive kind of this independence. They are not really worried about that because there are enough of opportunities these days. There's abundant opportunities. Even if they sit at home, parents are not going to blame them. So they will pursue their passion, do something, then come back, right? So this is the kind of consumers we are dealing with. So millennial consumers, they are looking for, fulfilling kind of roles, fulfilling kind of products that will give them satisfaction. So how do you really deal with them? This is the other side of it. So it is Once again, let me also look at how to learn marketing while being taught in the campus theoretically. Yeah, that is, yeah, I'll come to that. It's a very important question. And this omni-channel, what she's talking about, that I had already explained, right? So things are getting consolidated. This, whether you like it or not, this is the problem. And the customers you are dealing with are also extremely different. They are not anymore status conscious. You know, they are not bothered. I mean, it's simply, you know, they want some kind of a, already they are in that self-actualization mode. So they don't care. You know, the brands, labels, you know, those things really do not matter for them. So even now, for example, your BMWs, your all those things will appeal to only the children, people, those who are born before 80s. Whereas the present generation, they want utility. They are not bothered. If it works for me, I'm fine, right? So you are dealing with a different kind of a player. All right. So in this scenario, the way they teach marketing also is a problem. So we are unnecessarily teaching them something which is not relevant anymore. That's a problem. In fact, everywhere I go, I always say that, you know, if you want to learn marketing, you know, first get out of that Kotler's book. Because I learned marketing with Philip Kotler in IIM Calcutta. I used 4th edition. And today, I don't know which edition it has become. 4th edition book is such a wonderful book, small one. And every page I would have read several times. But now it has become a thick pillow and no coherence. They put everything into that, right? So it is a problem because, you know, today the marketing is completely different. It is not what we actually studied in those days. So if you have to teach marketing, I don't think this approach will work anymore. You will get into a problem. The students find it very difficult because when you join a company, you realize that marketing is so different. It is not anymore your you know, marketing job. You are not sitting on a, you are not a brand manager sitting and planning your branding strategy. And that's the biggest job every marketing student could aspire for. But today it's not like that. Most of the jobs that you do in marketing is all to do with number crunching, massaging the data, getting meaning out of that. And of course, are managing the digital marketing operations. Ultimately, you know, there's going to be huge volume of data. So that is the basic problem. See, I got into data analytics even while I was a student. When data was scarce, it was not available. I am still in demand purely because I'm into analytics. So I keep getting, you know, lots of consultancy assignments purely because of the analytics. But analytics has changed. That is the problem. So analytics is not anymore just statistics. So you should teach them not just the basic kind of, you know, numbers and number systems, but now, for example, in our, you know, institute, we straight away teach Python for everybody. And then we start with basic statistical analysis, then take them through your deep learning, your other AI models using Python. Because Python is the in thing. So using Python, how do you really, you know, work on different types of modelings? That's one area. I mean, I don't think everybody will have to get into that, but that is where there is a huge shortage of people. Apart from that, of course, there is a huge opportunity for people into digital marketing, social media marketing. There's also creative people are needed in that side of it. So that is where, if you are a pure marketing person, you have a problem. So what we do is in our institute, very first term when they join itself, we teach them a course on filmmaking. So multimedia and filmmaking is compulsory for MBA students. So they learn, for example, how to make films, short films, and how to make small advertisements. How do you create some social media posts? This is what they learn. And because of that, what happens is that they become increasingly relevant for today's world or in the future world also. Because this side, your technical side is there, that's fine. That people can learn, but this is the, so you need to be a holistic person. Unless you know the technical side and also know the creative side, you won't be successful in this area, at least in this digital and social media marketing area. So that is how, you know, we try to prepare our students. But you see, it is not easy. I mean, today's children, again, what I found is that some have aptitude for analytics. So they go deep into that. So they do exceedingly well. Some are more into creative and this kind of, you know, the skills in social media. So basically, we have minimized the input on the marketing 1, marketing 2, and those kind of courses. But we straight away jump into digital marketing, CRM, marketing analytics. You know, that's how we teach them. So this is the other kind of a preparation that we need to really put. Now someone is asking, I think Aman, what will be the future of artificial intelligence? Can we live without AI? You see, AI is all pervasive today. You know, you type in Google, before you complete the sentence, that completes it for you. So back end, there is intelligence. It is able to guess what you are trying to type. You type an email, it is guessing you, right? And households, of course, those who have Alexa, you know it. So say, Alexa, turn on the light. Alexa, which movie I should watch? So you ask every stupid question to Alexa. And people have started using AI in a big way, and AI is coming in everywhere. So you are talking about smart homes, you are talking about driverless cars, and all these areas. AI is coming in a very big way. Of course, they are now saying that Sophia will soon deliver a baby. And so if a robo is going to deliver a baby, you can understand, you see. We are actually going to play God. I mean, that's a level to which we are. Certainly, you know, AI will be there everywhere. And AI is going to take away a number of jobs. So you have to be also prepared for that. So the whole set of jobs which were there for managers, middle managers, were taken away by IT automation. Now, in the next 10 years, you will find there will be a huge amount of introduction of artificial intelligence. And that is going to take away all other kinds of jobs, you know, your call center, your any routine kind of jobs, all of that will get automated. Factories will not need much of the workers. And so this is the trend. But where are demands? Of course, still you have to sell. Selling as a job will automatically always remain there. So if you are creative, if you are innovative, you have to be, you will find opportunities. And you will be able to really, you know, do well in that arena, right? Now the other questions are AI and customer experience. See, customer experience, obviously, if you ask me, I will want to interact with a human being. But if you ask a millennial kid, he says, I mean, hell with all that. See, those who have children, you know, in the age group of, 10 to 15, you will know. So the mothers will keep calling the guy, you know, hey, food is ready, come down. The fellow will not respond. But on the WhatsApp, you send a message, food is ready, come down. He'll come down in next 2 minutes. They don't want, so they don't want that kind of a human interaction. So the experience wise, the future customers will be happy to interact with robots. They will be happy to work with these kind of systems, AI systems, and they are not going to really go by this human touch. So that is the other dimension, which all of you will have to understand. So consumer behavior is different. I mean, consumer behavior as you are used to do is not going to be valid anymore. So your future consumers are going to be absolutely different, and they are not expecting human interaction. So no point in talking about that loss of human touch, loss of this, that, etc. That is all gone. Similarly, for example, the robots themselves, your artificial system themselves are becoming more and more intelligent, and you are able to understand the emotions, analyze it, and then work on it. That is also part of life. So these two are simultaneously happening. Consolidation of business in the current scenario, but big fish are eating of small man business ideas. Milk basket, yeah. This is the point I wanted to end with, and then hand you over for further discussion. So this is the trend. Trend is, for example, one side is consolidation, and the other side is this, that imbalance that this technology is creating. And unfortunately, today the governments are also in favor of big business, because it is easy to hijack the entire country, like this. So whether it is US or India, most places, except of course some of the European countries which are welfare states, they try to redistribute wealth. Otherwise, most of the countries, what happens, the big businesses are like a mafia. So they tweak all the laws, regulations, everything in their favor, and nobody is able to touch them. So they are able to eat up. Like in the US, the local governments sometimes they tell that Walmart, these big stores, they cannot set up stores in their area. But now I don't know what they will do. So those days they could stop these big guys to come into the local area. But now the Amazons are coming in through the back door, and they are there everywhere. They're wiping out the entire set of stores. So this is the basic problem. So if that happens, the polarization. So one end you have super rich, other end you have these downtrodden and the poor people. So while at Ranchi also, I was trying to really address this issue. So that's where I said, we should start a program for the barefoot managers, meaning develop the rural poor, and then we work with self-help groups. We wanted to uplift their living standards, right? And bring them to the mainstream. Now, this is the job of the big corporations. If they don't do that, what will happen? There will be riots, there will be violence. So in your own interest, I think the big businesses should really, go and address these small and marginalized consumers. So gradually that marginalization is happening. You don't realize how it is getting widened. So the more and more it gets widened, more and more these people are going to be in real trouble, right? So that is another societal dimension. Is AI good or bad for the society? It's a much bigger question. You see, anything you do, any technology, any new development, it will be either, it can be used for good things, it can be used for negative things. See, today, for example, there are miniaturized drones available, and which can be programmed, and they will fly around and then understand your face. They have facial recognition system, and then he can exactly come and target and then kill you, right? So future wars will be fought very differently. AI enabled, your warheads and devices, they are going to be deployed. Now, for example, using that kind of drones, you can kill world leaders. You can kill anybody. You can, for example, send out millions of drones and then they'll go and kill the entire country, people in the country. Now, immediately don't jump into conclusion and say that, oh, AI is bad. AI is going to kill everybody. No. So who decides to deploy those drones? That is the human beings, right? And the same way, for example, same AI will get used for saving lives. It can be used to eliminate poverty by making these services available at a very, very low rate to the rural areas and deprived people in the slums and other places. You can uplift their life. So think of products that will reach those people also and then uplift all of them. A society can sustain, for example, the 80-20 rule, right? If 20% of the people have 80% of the wealth, up to that, the equilibrium can be maintained. Nothing will happen. But if it goes below that, if 10% people control 80% of the wealth, slowly riots will start. If 5% control 90% of the wealth, then surely it is ripe for a revolution. So you won't be able to safeguard your own property because it will become a country of poor people and then you have money. What will you do with that? Even if you park your car, come back, you will need a security for that. Otherwise, they'll remove the tires, remove the engine, sell it off. So this is the problem. AI is not good or bad. AI is neutral. But how do you deploy it? How do you use it? The only dimension is it is going to take away a lot of jobs. Then you need to retrain yourself and then go into jobs that will actually take care of you. So where will the jobs be? Certainly people will need entertainment. People will need spiritual well-being. People need leisure, sports and other things. Those areas will thrive. Of course, those areas also will see deployment of technology and new kind of methods, etc. Because as you know, even cricket today, there's so much of analysis, so much of technology, right? So even the bowling machines train you, right? So how to bowl against a particular batsman? You get trained before you go into the machine trains you. There's artificial intelligence there. But the point is that there will be opportunities in these areas. So you should prepare for that. In fact, I always jokingly used to say, even 10 years back, that's happening now. That instead of studying MBA, BBA, etc., you go and train under a Swamiji and become a Swami, you will make more money because when artificial intelligence takes away all the work, now people are looking for mental peace. So whoever gives mental peace, they will be the people who will really work on it, right? Of course, it's a very vast area. I'm also working on a next book on future trends in marketing. Still not crystallized my thoughts. Glad that I could come for this webinar and really enjoyed answering your questions. If there are any further issues, anything you want me to address, I'll be happy to talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening thoughts. And almost you have covered almost all the questions which I have raised at the beginning and connecting the dots in a very simple manner. Still, we are getting certain kind of the questions. And before taking some more questions, sir, one aspect which from my side, I think that is missing and talking about this blockchain and this a very heavy kind of this blockchain deployment into especially a personal banking and professional banking area. So how do you see that future, how this banking will change because of this blockchain technology?
So it is not only banking. You see, even government, administration, the way you run a company, everything is going to be completely transformed because Dubai city is going to deploy blockchain in the city administration. So The beauty of blockchain is that, it is transparent, it offers a high level of security, and it is distributed. So people can work from anywhere, but the central ledger gets updated. And once it is done, you cannot tamper with that. So there is a security feature. So it works well for that. And once that happens, you don't need millions of clerks and officers managing the banks. So State Bank of India, for example, can cut 80% of its staff and offer another 200% more services if they deploy blockchain. So governments can cut out all their bureaucrats, staff, etc. But they will not do that, I can tell you, because once they do that, then every citizen will know how the money is spent. So even if you create a fund, you take it, you will know exactly how much money went into that, how it was spent. So if you put a blockchain in government administration, it will become transparent. Transparency is the last thing any government will want, so they may not do that. Chandrababu Naidu wanted to do that in Andhra Pradesh, but he got defeated. And but companies will have no option. They will do that. So future will be more transparent, but there will be hackers who will also hack into that. And then like the cryptocurrency, and there was a guy who hacked it, and then he returned the money. Because even if you hack it, we'll know who hacked it, how the money went. So that patch is being put, and then it is becoming more secure now. So blockchain is something, is going to be part of your future, organization, any organization. So it's not only banks, but banks are more amenable.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
So I think this now clock is striking and telling us that now time is over. And if someone is having some more questions,
there is one question Vibhuti Bhushan has asked. He's saying, if Amazon is opening a virtual store is already there, and so virtual has different forms. I mean, I don't know what you mean. You can put a virtual mask. MIT has set up this kind of thing for experimentation. And then you can go look at your products, everything, sitting at your home. So you will have the store experience, it will get delivered. So that kind of virtual stores are already there. I mean, almost 10 years back itself, they have set it up. But people like to still go and shop, so that is there. But what is more likely, or what is happening now, is that there will be unsupervised stores. So there are many of those things available now. So you carry your loyalty card, which has RFID or some kind of identification enabled. So as you walk into the shop, it recognizes who you are. You go pick up whatever you want, and then you come through the checkout counter. You get billed for whatever you are carrying in your basket. So there won't be any people, anyone will be inside, but there will be cameras monitoring, what you're doing inside. And if you try any mischief, you will get caught. But that kind of stores are going to be there. As I told you, you see, this may look very odd for older people, but if you look at the millennials, for them, that's a normal thing. They are not dying for that kind of interaction. At the same time, when they want a relationship, they are not like us. They don't feel afraid of going to a girl and saying that, hey, I want you, I like you. Now, they are much more open about that. And if they want to break up, they say that, all right, I don't think it's working, man. So let's break up. So for them, it is very natural and normal. So our future world might become more and more, virtual, and without that kind of a human touch. This is bound to be there. So you cannot escape it. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Question from Varghese is that what kind of this skill set and the learning should now this marketing professional should possess?
Yeah, I did talk about that. I told you, marketing persons are not needed But what is needed is someone who's creative, can be innovative, because that your AI system won't be able to be so creative, because so the future skills needed is we have to be more and more. So when will you be creative? You think the guy who is the topper in the class and very regular to the class, who's always combed nicely and dresses properly? No way. It is those cranky fellows, who sit in the last bench, whistle, or don't attend classes properly, and they are the ones who are more creative. I'm not saying actually don't study, but I'm saying allow. So teachers should not also, force you to be more systematic, this, that, etc. So you have to be little cranky, little off the wall, nutty. That's the kind of people who are going to be in demand. I don't know how to produce that. If you want to look at it, you have one in front of you. I was a cranky fellow. I was eccentric. So I continue to be eccentric. 5-year tenure. At the end of 3rd year, I said, take it. I don't want your job. I walked out. I am absolutely eccentric, but then I am the one who is in great demand. I am now 68, and they don't want me to retire. So I keep getting a lot of assignments. So creativity, your level of lateral thinking is very important. Some of the skills needed, I told you already, develop the skills in multimedia, filmmaking, acting, all these things are exceedingly important if you want to be in marketing. And and of course, pick up the technical skills, in terms of digital marketing, social media marketing, which are currently in demand. And future, I think you'll have to pick up skills in Python programming. That's what we are trying to prepare. And a little bit on AI, deep learning, your machine learning. Those are the kind of skills you have to pick up now to be relevant for the future. But you can always pick up as we go along also. It's not necessary that. So education will become just in time. I think the college degrees, your study for 7 years, 8 years, all those are meaningless. As and when you need, you do a 6-month diploma certificate, 3-month certificate, learn something, do something on your own, go to YouTube. See, there are so many geniuses, school dropouts, they are doing exceedingly well by just, going to YouTube videos. You can build your skill by that, right? So be yourself, follow your passion, and learn on your own. Don't go by, only the textbook, only the degree, only the certificate. I think even IITs, IIM, they are all losing out. You have to learn on your own. So find out what you like. The curriculum is not yet designed to meet individual needs. All right.
Sir, one more last question from my
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he is asking that how he can use AI application into this direct selling.
No, he is not going to sell. See, your robo will sell. See, the point is, initial, you have a lead, right? Lead see, everything today selling happens through a CRM system. You have a campaign generates leads, and the leads come into a lead management system. From then on, for example, lead qualification, lead processing, and everything is done by robotic engines, right? So you are not needed. I mean, so then the next level, for example, even initial presentation, the initial canvassing, all that will happen through this. Only when the lead is sufficiently ready to finally place the order, human intervention is needed. So that's when you go and sign the order. But even there, you are not necessary. You could, the robots could really convert that. But again, you have to see, you can't do that in petty shop or small chai shop and other places where you will still be doing it face to face. But large companies selling high value items will all use AI to do the selling. So AI is AI means what? I mean, wherever, you are taking a phone and talking to somebody, you can automate it. So how it works, you have a FAQs. You know the kind of question customer asks, and you put it inside your chatbot, right? In the chatbot, it is able to understand your question because you have a natural language processing facility. It understands your language and then starts answering. Then slowly it develops intelligence and then it starts answering you. Now, this kind of a capability will also come to education. So you will have robo teachers, and the robo teachers, even middle of the night, you call up, ask doubt, it will answer you. It will answer you better than the teacher because it can refer to the entire internet search and find out and give you the best answer. There are AI engines that are able to write books, story books. There are engines which write academic articles, academic papers. But you see, there is a human face. I mean, you are not God, right? AI is not God. So you still need that thing. But same way, selling also, lots of your selling operations will get automated. So the number of people needed will come down. That is the problem. This is 2030 scenario, but it's slowly happening.
Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightening thoughts. And now no questions. You have already taken all the questions. So thank you very much, sir, for such a kind of this interaction. And definitely we have got a lot of insights and new information, even that robots, which is delivering a baby, that is new to me also.
We are working on it. Hopefully, Sophia delivers a baby.
Yeah. So future is not only this robots and human, and these will be this cobots. So future definitely in the workplace, there will be the colleagues, there will be the robots, and this future is going to happen. Now I'm handing over the session to Professor Vijay. Over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It has been a very, very enlightening session. So, respected Professor M.J. Javier, Dr. Shubhendra Parihar, and my dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on the occasion of Webinar of the Month on Marketing Masterclass 2030 delivered by Professor M.J. Javier, sir. I, on behalf of Udaan Digital, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Professor M.J. Javier, sir, for sharing his thoughts on the theme Marketing Masterclass 2030 with us today. Thank you, sir, for sharing the insights on the future of marketing. Okay, and we have talked about so many things which have been very, very relevant and upcoming also. And I would also like to place our deep sense of appreciation for Dr. Shubhendra Parihar for accepting our request for moderating the webinar. Thank you, sir, for your kind support. I am very much thankful to all the participants for joining us in the webinar. And I would like to tell you that Udaan Digital is trying to help you skill in the platforms in digital marketing area, as well as social marketing area, as well as marketing areas. So we are planning to launch our second batch in digital marketing. Okay, that is called Certified Digital Marketing Professional Course on 8th of November. Okay, and we are also launching our social media marketing course on 8th of November. So both the courses we are launching on 8th of November after Deepavali. Okay, and then next month on 3rd of October, we are launching our Marketing Masterclass. That's a recorded program, and that program is delivered by me. So it's around 8 hours program, okay, with 120 plus videos kind of thing. So that will be getting launched on 3rd of October. So you may join us on our website, www.udaandigital.com. You just need to remember the digital we write as DIYGITAL, as we are talking about do it yourself. So that's why we say Udaan Digital. Okay. In the chat box also I have given the link. You may also call us on 7318004181. So it's all there. All the information are there, and we are there for you. Thanks a lot. Take care of you and your family. Stay healthy. Stay safe. See you soon in another thought-provoking seminar. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you.
participants. Thanks a lot.